fundamental Bitcoin is breaking from a critical pattern. Is this the move that can start heading us back to the upside? XRP with some amazing news being announced, plus Fantom with some news as well. Loads to get into today, guys. We've got a very important pattern. I've been sharing this pattern on the hourly chart with you guys. We have got a breakout of this pattern. What does this mean? What is the next price target? Is this a fake out? I'm going to break down the TA and what I'm seeing in the market, plus some important macroeconomic news. Is this just a trap? That's what we need to get into. We're going to start off with Ripple here. Big news breaking out of XRP community that Ripple, the developer behind the XRP ledger, enters the stablecoin fray. It looks like they want to launch a stablecoin, guys. It's going to be issued on the XRP ledger. It's going to be one-to-one USD backed stablecoin, cross-chain integration, issued on Ethereum. No ticker just yet, but this is big news, right? We know this is a big market. It's a $150 billion market. If you've not watched my video on Ethena yesterday, make sure you go watch that. There seems to be a big narrative going on right now around stablecoins. We're starting to see some hype around stablecoin again. Not too dissimilar to the news we had in the last cycle. What ruled the last cycle was UST and Terra Luna, right? And we're starting to see similar things start to go on here as we head towards this Bitcoin halving. So big news here for the Ripple community. We are naturally seeing the XRP token have a little bit of a move, but remember, this is it's Ripple, not necessarily the XRP token. So you've got to understand what that means as well, the implications, but you are seeing a move here in the token price. Also some news for Fantom. They're excited to announce another angel investor. They're not messing around. They are getting the big heavy hitters into their ecosystem, backing them. They kick off another one here with the founder and CEO of Balance Labs, Fernando Martinelli. So again, bringing in big people and hoping that these VCs will open the door to bring in billions of total value locked into their new Sonic platform when they look to launch it. If you haven't watched my video interviewing Michael Kong, get yourself caught up on that, because Fantom are making a big pivot. It could be a big gamble, and if it pays off, you could see an explosive move in the price once Sonic is launched. So definitely check that out as well. I'll leave that as a card somewhere up here. Now, let's get into Bitcoin. What is going on? Because of course, we still need direction from Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has been struggled in this pattern, faked to the upside, fell to the downside, now consolidated in what is known as a bearish pattern. Typically, this is a bearish pattern. It's a bearish continuation pattern. You move to the downside, and then you continue, and then you break to the downside. Now, you've got to be careful. Sometimes, like we've experienced in the past, you get fake outs. It fakes this way, liquidates everybody, and then it continues to the downside anyway, right? We've seen that in the recent history. You can see that happened here, right? Faked out to there, and then eventually curled over. So be very careful. Do not just start chasing green candles and getting excited, but also we need to understand what are the price targets. You can see that there is very natural support here at the 68,000 level, right? This 68,000 level is very natural support, but remember, support also then becomes resistance. It may be that we experience some resistance and start struggling around that level. So be very careful at the 68,000 level. Now, what's also important to understand is that within that small triangle, we're still part of this bigger 4-hourly triangle. And we've managed to now, with the breakout of that smaller triangle, form a good bounce here at the bottom. So whilst that small triangle did show a reversal, which is fantastic, on the bigger triangle, what we can see is now we are in a bullish pattern, right? The 1 hour chart was a bearish pattern, but reversed bullish. But the bigger time frame takes precedence here, and the bigger time frame is a bullish pennant. It's a move into a consolidation, which typically, more often than not, remember trading and TA is all about probabilities, more often than not can break to the upside. That being said, we're very far from a breakout to the upside, right? We're just bouncing from the bottom. So naturally, you're going to face a lot of resistance at 68,000, which is this kind of support level here, but then also working your way to the top of the triangle around 70.5 level, depending on if it wants to kind of, just meander along here and maybe work its way up here, up towards 70, and then maybe it'll struggle around 70. So we're still in this consolidation pattern. We're just getting a bounce from the bottom here. So this is very important to watch. Now, if we can, of course, break this pattern to the upside, right? It's going to take a little while, but if we can start working our way here, that sets us up for a big, powerful move back through all-time highs, heading towards 80,000. That's what the bullish case is here on Bitcoin. Now, in order to understand which direction we're heading in, we need to understand the macroeconomics. You guys know that's what this channel is all about. I'm not sat here being a moon boy saying, oh, look, we're just going to head to 100,000. We need to analyze what is happening in this market. And the main thing you guys need to be very, very cognizant of is this narrative around inflation. I brought it up a couple of days ago that this market is starting to get a little bit nervy. If you look at the start of this week, traditional markets had 3 straight days of losses after hitting record highs. Now, one, that is expected, but two, we have to understand why. It's because of the fears around inflation rearing its head. Earlier in the week, I shared the ISM PMI data. Now remember, that's a little bit complicated, but in essence, it was showing that the economy is healthy. Manufacturers were producing a lot. So Jerome Powell will be looking at that going, hang on, how can I cut interest rates when inflation could still be there? The economy is still healthy. I haven't killed the economy. I'm in no rush to cut interest rates. And he's promised the markets through his summary of economic projections that we're probably going to get 3 rate cuts. And so now that starts to become in jeopardy. And the market now needs to start going, okay, are we actually going to get that? So far, market is saying absolutely not. We're not getting one in May. But the market is expecting that we get one. You can see that here. 60% of the market is expecting that we get one in the next meeting, which is on June the 12th. Our first rate cut is being priced in by this market. But this is the probability that we need to monitor. Because if data continues to come out showing that the economy is strong, that wages are high, that inflation could still rear its head, this could be a problem. Markets may need to unwind this probability that we're going to get a rate cut. And that will create more red in the market, rotate the market risk off, which is not great for Bitcoin and the favorite altcoins you're monitoring. So I know you just care when moon, but I need to give you the context behind it. Hopefully you appreciate that. If you do, smash up the likes. If you want to trade with this community, ijazcrypto.com/TG. It's the very first link in the description. I will show you how I generated over 330% spot trading the markets. No leverage, no margin, just simple TA, understanding the macros like this and taking calculated risks when trading. That's it. You can join us in the Telegram group if you're interested. So that's something that's very, very important. And the big piece of data that's coming out tomorrow, which all of you need to be locked into, again, I'm going to post the updates in Telegram and most likely make a video on it as well, is your non-farm payrolls. Why are these important? These figures tell you how many jobs in the US were created, what are the average earnings, and is basically the labor market strong or weak? Jerome Powell will be watching this very, very carefully, and so will we. Markets will move on based on this data, so it's very important that we watch that. So yes, this pattern is great, but it's very important that we get good news tomorrow, which shows that the labor market is cooling off, is showing some weakness, because that's going to give Jerome Powell the feeling that, okay, look, maybe inflation isn't that bad. Look, wages aren't too high. They're coming down. That's good. Maybe I need to cut interest rates. And then we can start having a move to the upside. Very important that we're able to work through these patterns here on Bitcoin. Also worth checking in on the dollar index. You can see here on the daily chart here on dollar index, it's good to see it start correcting. But remember, it managed to get its higher high, right? This is like a higher high pattern. So we need to make sure that we can send this down and go below this peak here on the dollar index. Remember, when the dollar index is in a downwards trend, that is good for risk on. That's good for Bitcoin. That's good for your altcoin. So you want to see this trending to the downside. So if I zoom out to the weekly chart, you can see this isn't too shabby, right? This isn't too shabby here on dollar index. There's your high, there's another high, there's another lower high. This is good. We're keeping it in a downward trend as best as possible. That's what we want to see. If I bring out the EMA ribbon, you can also see that it's just kind of chopping kind of sideways here. I want to see this get sent down a good couple of weeks below its EMA ribbon, really start to confirm the downward trend, because historically, when you zoom out, every time Bitcoin has done well through a halving event, dollar index has been moving to the downside for a long period of time on the weekly chart, right? Look at this rejection here, boom. Look at this rejection here. This was a good rejection here on dollar index here, and Bitcoin did well, but we need to send it back to the downside some more in this direction if we want another powerful leg up for the crypto markets and also your NASDAQ and your other risk on assets, right? Very important. Now, coming back out to Bitcoin, let's pull out our EMA ribbon here as well. And you can see on the weekly chart, is there really much to be worried about? Quite frankly, no, right? If you look at it from this perspective, you can see how extended we are here on the charts. We've posted a higher high, creating a new all-time high. And now I have no issues if this wants to come down, even down to 53,000, right? To collect some support. That would be no issue for me. In fact, that would be amazing bargains for me to be buying the dip there. Now, if it doesn't want to do a weekly EMA ribbon pullback, then let's look at the daily EMA ribbon. We are getting that pullback, right? And this is where markets are panicking. Just a little pullback into EMA ribbon, but suddenly people are panicking. Just a little pullback into EMA ribbon, but suddenly markets are panicking. But what is important here on Bitcoin, and I'm going to stress this one more time, is that when we now bounce, hopefully we bounce here from the EMA ribbon, when we get this bounce over the next kind of couple of days, it's important we post a higher high. See this? This is a lower high, right? Here's a high, here's a lower high. If we form another lower high, it's not looking good. It looks like we're curling over, the bulls have run out of steam, and there's a higher probability that we'll eventually lose our daily EMA ribbon, which is a close below 62,000. So that's what I'm watching out for. It's very important that we can start taking this triangle here, take a look at this triangle, and we can start taking this triangle to the upside, breaking out, and creating that higher high. This is what we need on Bitcoin to maintain the upwards momentum, okay? That will keep our EMA ribbon, it'll give us the higher high, which is what we need, and we can keep the momentum to the upside. So there you have it, guys. There is the update on the markets. Bitcoin is on the short-term time frame breaking out from a very important pattern, but be very, very wary. A lot of important macroeconomic data coming out, a lot of Fed officials speaking, and they can wreck you, particularly if you're taking a leverage trade. So be very, very careful. If you're going to trade with my community, you can do so using the very first link in the description to our Telegram community, where I'll show you exactly how I trade and profit from this exciting market. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.